I love sweet God magnet. Love just to tell you, don't you grab it.
Welcome to Lobster Magnets Review, the channel. I am here to discuss all of the great news coming from E3 and give you my personal takes on it, because aside from media, movies, films, comics, manga, and all that other fun stuff, my great passion in life has always been video games, and I've followed the industry for a very long time, which is surprising given the fact that I've only really done video game content in like the past 2 weeks. But let's get into like one game that really caught my attention during the Xbox conference, Jump Forces. Now, obviously, being a little guy who loves me some, Shonen Jump manga heroes and follows a lot of Jump comics, this should be my bee's knees, this should be my catnip, but I groaned tremendously when I saw, the initial announcement trailer. Now, the reason isn't so much because I don't like crossover fighters. There have been various crossover fighters with Jump characters before. There was a decent series on the good old DS that was kind of like a little portable Smash Brothers with a bunch of Jump characters. There was, of course, like the Jump V-Stars Victory, which I think was on the PS3, which is kind of like a 3D fighting game with a bunch of different characters. Crossover fighters are always fun. That's always the fun of like bringing different characters and having them collide. That will never not get old. But what I find kind of hilarious about this one is the sort of tone, in that it's got this gravely apocalyptic tone, in the sense that, like, obviously there's going to be some sort of storyline where it's like, oh, the universes are melging, the Shonen Jump world is going to come and collide with our reality, so we're going to see Goku and Luffy and Naruto in New York City, which I think is quite possibly one of the dumbest and most cringe-worthy approaches you can take with this material. These are larger-than-life, very cartoony characters. The idea of, like, throwing them into, like, a sort of Michael Bay-esque reality. And, like, the thing that really sold it to me, that, like, this is a Michael Bay-esque reality, is like, there's, like, 2 seconds of the trailer where you have, like, Luffy, like, is hanging in New York City, and there's, like, an American flag, and he swings past it, and at that, I was just laughing so goddamn hard, because it's just, like, absurd. It's, like, such a Spider-Man moment, like, oh, Luffy's gonna come swing and save the day, yeah, the little straw hat pirate boy. Which I just think is, like, the wrong approach. These are big, bold, cartoony characters with no unified aesthetic, no sense of realism. Something bolder and cartoonier, like something similar to Smash Brothers, probably would work better as an aesthetic, as opposed to, like, this grim, super serious thing. So that's red flag number 1. I think the tone is completely off the mark. Red flag number 2 comes in the fact that, it's from Namco Bandai. I think it's the same team that did the Ultimate Ninja games for the Naruto series. Now, if you played those, they're fun licensed games in the sense that, like, they're very bombastic, they look really good, lots of special effects and stuff flying across the screen. They're good licensed games, and what you want in a good licensed game is you basically want to see, like, you don't really care about a balanced fighting game experience. You basically just want to see the licensed represented to the best of its ability. So it doesn't matter if all the characters are balanced. Sasuke and Itachi can whip out their, Susanos and just beat the shit on things. Even if, other characters don't have a viable counter, it's fine because it's a, interpretation of these licensed characters, and that's what you're coming there for. But the only problem is, like, as pretty as those games are, they are, deep as a kiddie pool. They are shallow as hell. Like, every character has the exact same moveset, just like mash the attack button, and then, throw in a special super when the other opponent's guard is down and try and get off your ultimate attack, and then use your last-ditch hyper move at the end. And, it makes for engaging gameplay, or, like, fun first impression gameplay, but it's not very deep gameplay. It's not the kind of thing that'll, like, keep you coming back again and again. There aren't, like, massive systems or differentiations between different characters. It's fun that you have, like, 80-plus characters from, like, the entire series, but at the same time, these characters that you're playing with, don't play that much differently. They all have the fundamental basics underlined, so it's not like a more technical fighter like Soul Calibur or Tekken, where you've got like every character has like several 10-button combos to memorize and hitboxes and all this other advanced tactics. And, you know, the gameplay we've seen, it looks like it's a very similar fighting system to that engine in terms of like you've got like the third-person view, you know, you do the zoom-in run attack to the people, you launch them back with specials. The melee attacks doesn't look like there's much differentiation other than like mashing that button. So to that regard, you know, it's a very pretty looking game, but it looks mechanically shallow. And I really don't like the sort of over-the-top tone. I kind of wish it was a little bit more sedated and, you know, cartoony and playful, which I think is more appropriate given the wide swath of these characters. And also, I think the idea of, like, you know, teasing Light and Ryuk as, like, playable characters is just kind of dumb, given Light, you know, doesn't really fight. But who knows? Maybe we can all just laugh as, like, Light uses incredible Death Note-based powers to pummel the opposition. It's going to be hilarious. And maybe that's his finishing move, is that he, like, you know, looks up at their, you know, health bar, sees their name, and writes it down in his notebook, and that's how he finishes off people. But yeah, I was not super enthused. I mean, on the one hand, it's kind of nice that, like, you know, usually these Japanese-specific things, these Japanese-specific characters don't really get, like, big E3 press conference attention. But, you know, the fact that it got a big reveal on the American manufacturer Microsoft is sort of speaks to how these things are kind of becoming more culturally ubiquitous. But, yeah, I won't be doing many of these things about, like, just talking about individual games because there are too many games. But I think given how much, like, anime, manga stuff I've done, you know, I had to, like, share some thoughts on it. Because, you know, it just looks meh, sadly, unfortunately. It doesn't look like anything I'd probably touch with a 10-foot pole. So those are my thoughts. Stick around. I have plenty more E3 stuff on all the other conferences. And remember, lobsters and tennis, but don't you grab it.